All right, just after 2 a.m. on this Thursday morning, Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Marcus Bagwell still keeping an eye on the upcoming wintry weather that is expected to move in. Tyler Tower Cam roadways are wet at this point. The temperature now from the west side of town, 33 degrees, and we have that northeast wind that continues to hold up. Different picture for us in Longview, still with northeast wind at 7 miles. Are warmer compared to posted for the majority of East Texas. 16 winter storm warning. That's where the greater potential of ice accumulation is expected, perhaps exceeding 2/10, maybe even approaching 1/4 of an inch of ice possible in the area. We could probably expect a few 100s to perhaps up to 1/10 of an inch, closer to 2/10 and 1/4 is going to be more of a very isolated at a temperature of 28 and 26 in Sulphur Springs. You factor in the wind miles an hour. Yeah, we're still looking at a wind chill that's there are your road conditions right now. Things are looking okay here. We just generally have some rain. Yeah, perhaps some light snow near the Sabine River along the significant at this point. Can't rule out maybe some snowflakes, but more event. So we showed you Longview's those road temperatures back off to the northwest. A check of the East Texas Storm Team live Doppler radar. Now, nothing too significant at this current moment, but we will continue to keep an eye on it because we anticipate seeing some of that precipitation move in to the region. Let's give you a closer look on what and you'll notice as we get back into Mineola, Canton, and Van, notice how the radar is picking up on some of this light freezing rain that may be developing here. Texas website, and we have a lot of icy problems already back in Van Zandt County. The bulk of Van Zandt County, and we're probably going to see some additional concerns pick up over the next couple of hours or so. You notice back into the Metroplex, radar is just now getting turned back on from the Fort Worth side. It had some issues there a bit earlier this morning, but we do notice that precipitation beginning to increase. Some of the areas of darker pink though, and I'll come back into our area so we can see that a little bit better. Some of the darker pinks are probably better indications of some of that freezing rain. Look at northwest Henderson County near Gun Barrel City. You'll notice here some of that precipitation beginning to pick up, and it's going to lift to the northeast. So this is the region that we will monitor closely for us to have some better impacts perhaps of this wintry precipitation. Notice though in deep East Texas, yeah, it's just mostly rain here at this point. Now Trinity County, you are under a winter weather advisory, but at this time it looks like all the precipitation is liquid at the current moment. Okay, let's talk about these precipitation types just a bit more. First of all, freezing rain. That's going to be the more common type of wintry weather that we are going to see. What we notice here, first of all, what's always interesting, I enjoy talking about this when we go to school visits with kids, Everything that falls from that cloud initially is always falling as ice, just because the cloud temperature is going to remain very cold. But then it goes through a layer of warming. In some cases, it starts cold and then it goes through the layer of warming. The question here for freezing rain, how extensive is this warm layer, or in meteorological terms, we like to call it the warm nose? How extensive is that layer that could lead to a freezing rain concern? Well, we're probably looking at least 34 degrees at this layer or greater. And right now, just looked at it just a moment ago, around 3,000 feet to 5,000 feet, that layer of warmer air is up to about 40 to 50 degrees. 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So we have an extensive layer of warm air. What that means is that the precipitation at that level stays as a liquid. But as it comes down to the ground, we get under the freezing mark, and definitely under 30. So you've got liquid coming all the way to the ground, but then when it makes contact with surfaces that are below freezing, that liquid hits the droplet, or the droplet hits that elevated surface and then freezes on contact. That's what leads to the freezing rain concern. Now, sleet is something else that we cannot rule out, although it's a little bit more of a lower chance. You've got a smaller area of warm temperatures just above us, and we're looking at a deeper layer compared to the freezing rain layer, a deeper layer of temperatures below freezing that would support sleet. And then anything below freezing, if it was just all blue, that will lead to freezing rain, and then a greater area of red and no blue underneath it. That's all liquid precipitation. But we're definitely more concerned about the freezing rain. The one up on the left, that's where we're going to probably have some of the bigger impacts. I'll look at Futurecast for us once again. There you can notice as we get to the next couple of hours, the precipitation beginning to pick up, and conditions will likely go downhill in our west and northwest counties, assuming this precipitation does increase. That's going to be the biggest part of the forecast. That's what we're going to be watching for very closely when we hit KETK Today time at 5 a.m. and going into Fox 51 Good Day as well, where we could have some impacts. Some of this even moving in a bit closer into our area. There's a closer look. There you can notice perhaps toward Tyler on the east side, perhaps where that freezing line moves a little bit more to the east. Close call for Upshur County along Highway 271, but back inside of Wood County and Van Zant, Rains, Hopkins, Henderson and Anderson County, we could be looking at some greater impacts across that region. As we get toward 9 a.m., precipitation is still around, but it's starting to work its way to the north and to the northeast. The question is, how fast will that happen? Because if it takes a long time, that's going to keep temperatures near the freezing mark or just above. And then areas that don't get above freezing, you're looking at refreezing going into Thursday night as the colder air continues to move in. There's 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon as the precipitation begins to pull away. As we've mentioned, it's mostly still rain in deep East Texas, but it may end as a sleet, maybe a snowflake, or even some light freezing rain, maybe in our southern counties. But the impact there is going to be minimal to almost none. There, the clouds clearing, and we still have moisture on the ground, some freezing rain still on the ground in these areas. The temperature will probably drop into the mid and maybe even some lower 20s. And while we'll have some breaks in the clouds to start Friday, clouds will roll right back in as we get into the afternoon. Still on track for us to see the greatest accumulation across our northwest areas at this point. The wintry mix, though, likely in purple, and then areas to the east, rain to a sleet mixture with essentially not much accumulation expected at this point. So there we go with a look at the radar. Again, what we're watching for now is what's going to start taking place with some of this precipitation that's increasing from Navarro County going up into Van Zant, Southwest Wood, and even into Rains County. This will be the region that we will keep an eye on closely. We'll see if we get any information coming in from the National Weather Service forecast office. All right, we'll continue to monitor things with not much of an update. Going to definitely end this one here a little bit quicker, but we'll continue to watch this precipitation batch, and if we get any new information, we'll definitely let you know. Thanks for taking time to join us here on our digital live stream. We start our coverage for your Thursday morning KETK Today. That begins at 5 a.m. on KETK. You can also watch that on the KETK app. Don't forget, you can download the East Texas Storm Team app too to track the precipitation, get the current look at road conditions as we talk more about the ice impacts perhaps likely to occur west of Highway 271.